This is the Ram cold air intake from Banks Power. Now, you may have noticed a trend on the channel recently. We're outfitting the truck with a lot of Banks Power performance parts, and we're doing this because I believe in Banks. Gale Banks set this company up back in 1958, and he is a force in the automotive industry. He stands behind these products. They're all tested. When Banks tells you what you're going to get out of their products, you can rest assured that you will, because they don't put the products out without testing them. If they say something has been run on a dyno and you're going to get X number of increased foot-pounds, let's say, or horsepower, it's been tested. Now, what we've got today, this is the Ram cold air intake. You can see all the pieces and parts and stuff here. Here are the tools that you need. Very, very simple install. Now, as we did with the boost tubes that I recently installed, you can see here and here, we're going to run through the key points, I guess, real quick as to what you get. Why put this thing on? First of all, it adds 18.3 horsepower. 18.3. Should be able to feel that, I think. You know, a lot of the competitors out there, they put up horsepower numbers, but they never put their products on a dyno. They just go from history. This product from Banks has been tested. It's going to increase by 17.7 foot-pounds. Should feel that on the takeoff. As I mentioned, it is dyno and road tested. It's a 72% larger airbox, or airbox inlet, I should say. The flow is 30% greater than stock. It has a large EPDM front ram air scoop. It has an oversized box to increase air volume and filter, removable side inlet plug. That's so you can install this if you happen to have the snorkel on the side of your truck. It also comes with either an oil or a dry air filter element, take your pick, 5-year warranty, and no check engine lights. That's it, that's all the detail. Now let's get into the fun part, the install. First thing we want to do is, as always, disconnect the negative terminal on the battery. That takes a 12mm socket. By the way, a little tip for you, I always put the nut back on the stud just to make sure I don't lose it. Next up, we're going to go ahead and remove the top part of the cold air intake here. These are held in by these little push pin things, and the way these work, you push down and you heard the snap and it releases them. Then you pull it out, if I can get my fingers in there, and to reset them you want to push from the bottom, and I'm trying to do this one-handed for you, so that the top part sticks up like so. When you put them back in, which we will be reusing these, you want to push it down just so it's flush with the top of the pin, not all the way down like that. And there are 4 of these that you have to push in to remove. And just be careful they don't pop out of there like mine just did. And then just go ahead, pull this out, and we're not going to reuse this. Next up, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the MAF sensor. Pretty simple to do. Just push on the top little push-up release. And then pull out towards the front of the truck. There's also a little clip back here you have to release to get the wire off of the existing stock intake. To do that, this little clip thing here, you just kind of put your screwdriver in the slot, pull the little part back. There's a part that pops back. You may not even need a screwdriver actually. And then pull up the front part of it like so. And then your MAF sensor connector is loose. Next up, we want to remove, or loosen rather, the clamp down here on the bottom next to the Banks boost tube I've got installed. So I'm going to go ahead and just back this screw out a bit. I'm not going to completely remove it. That will allow us to pull the tube off of the connection down there. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and pop these clips back like so. This takes a 10mm socket. Next up, we're going to go ahead and pull up on the bottom part of the intake. It should release. It's just held in by little prongs. Like so. Now, on the bottom of this intake, you're going to have these little nubs. You can see one there, one there, one there. We're going to reuse those. You want to just pull them out, and they do just pull right out like so. And then we're done with the bottom of the stock intake. Now, grab the bottom part of your Banks cold air intake, and you want to push these little nubs that we just pulled out into the holes on the Banks unit here, and they just push right in pretty simply. One thing I like about the Banks parts, everything fits the way that it should. This isn't going to be a roadblock that I have to spend 3 hours trying to put a simple push pin kind of thing, or a pin part into the unit. You can see right there, that's it. Now these are going to marry up with some studs that are in the bottom area where the intake is going to sit. You can see these here, here, and here. But before we get to that, we do want to relocate the MAF sensor from the existing stock lid. You can see it right there. And of note, you do not reuse these screws. The kit comes with new screws. Make sure that you use those. With a Phillips screwdriver from the stock lid. Again, remembering that we are not reusing the screws that came with the unit. So I'll put those back in a minute. Go ahead and gently pull out the sensor. Look at all that. Quite the conglomeration, right? Now, we want to go ahead and insert this into the tube from Banks. You want to make sure the connection end points towards the big mouth end of the pipe. Go ahead and gently place that inside. Nice, good fit. I love that. And then you use the two supplied screws to snug it in. You don't want to put this thing in like you're trying to kill it, but you do want it to be snug, of course. Next up, unless you have a snorkel, you want to go ahead and put the inlet cover over the opening on the Banks box, like so. Again, if you have a snorkel, well, you know what happens next. Grab your box, and via the nubs down in the bay here that I showed you earlier, you want to go ahead and secure the box down below by placing the nubs into the grommets that we put inside the new box. Next, you want to grab the Banks air scoop, and you'll notice there's slots around this gasket. They're going to fit right over the edge of the box that we just installed. So let's go ahead, seat this right where we need it to be. Nice, nice, good fit. Then you're going to grab the pins that we took out earlier, and you want to go ahead and reinsert those. Again, making sure that you have the top of the pin here pulled up so that you can just push it down flush once you put it in. And I also find it makes it a little easier if you just kind of roll your finger around the edge you're going to stick in, just to flatten it a little bit, to fit it in the holes. You may have heard that little click there. That's what you want to hear. Next, we're going to move on to the air filter. Grab the big ass air filter, yeah, that's what it's called, and go ahead and slip it into the opening where it goes over here on the side with the clamp in such a way that you can access it to tighten it down once we get to that point. Grab the rubber coupling, and orientation for this, you'll notice some slots. On the top, you have a bigger slot. This is kind of where the mass airflow sensor is going to sit, just for orientation's sake. You also have the Banks logo in the front. You should be able to read that from the front. Go ahead and place the clamp over it, on the bottom side, of course. Again, orienting it so you can access the screw to tighten the clamp up once we get to that point. One thing I want to note, there is a little slot kind of right below the bigger slot on the coupling here. It marries up to a part that sticks up down below, so it'll give you a reference as to how this is to be placed. Next up, let's grab another clamp, the last clamp. Go ahead and put it over the top of the coupling. Now we're going to grab the big tube that's going to connect to the big ass filter. And we're going to go ahead and marry this up to the coupling. Go ahead and slide it down in there. Again, with the mass flow air sensor kind of lined up towards the gap in the tubing down below. Go ahead and tighten up all of your clamps, the two down here at the bottom and the one up here on the tube for the air filter. We just slip that inside the top part for the air filter. All right, got everything tightened down. You guys can see what it looks like. Pretty cool setup. Now, lastly, we want to go ahead and grab the mass airflow connector, and we're going to kind of snake it around from the back, like so. Grab it from the front, and then we're going to go ahead and connect it up. Again, it's just an easy push in, very simple. Should hear a click like that. And we are golden. We are done. The only thing to do now is to reconnect the negative terminal and go for a ride. And I'm bringing you guys with me. We're out on the road testing out the new Ram air intake, the cold air intake from Banks Power. And awesome install, very simple. Took me probably an hour, and that was filming. It's a half an hour install, maybe less. Love the way that it went in. Everything fit properly, no issues whatsoever. No check engine lights on the gauge cluster, as they said I wouldn't have, right? As far as how does it feel, we did add some horsepower and some torque, and it does feel to me to be just a little bit more responsive. I'm not going to say top speed is like 250 now, but off the line does seem to take up a little bit better. Seems to get that turbo rather spooling a little bit quicker. Of course, that's in conjunction with the bigger boost pipes. But nonetheless, between the two, the bigger boost pipes, which I installed in a previous video, and this cold air intake, it's awesome. I love it. Fantastic. Now, as far as fuel economy, we'll see if I feel anything different or see anything different. I can honestly say at first, probably not, because I'm going to be on the gas a little more, because I'm getting a little bit more turbo the sound now since I put this intake in. First time that I've really consciously noticed it in the sport. In the TRD off-road, it was a little bit louder, and it's kind of been a little less in the sport until I put this cold air intake in. I'm not sure. I'll be quiet, see if you guys can hear it. I love it. It's awesome. I don't know if it comes through in the video or not, but I can hear it, and that's all that matters. Anyway, very happy with it. Excellent product. Highly recommend it. Check it out. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.